This video is sponsored by Full Sail University. In today's world, we like to keep technology by our sides at all times. Mobile technology is booming, and if you're looking to prepare for this industry, Full Sail University offers degree programs to help you reach your goals. In the Mobile Development Undergraduate Degree Program, you'll learn how to create and distribute apps, and if you're ready to advance your development skills, check out the Mobile Gaming Graduate Program. Through Full Sail's Project Launchbox program, students will receive a MacBook, industry software, plus iOS and Android devices. So if you're ready to compete in this rapidly growing industry, visit fullsail.edu/YouTube to learn more. Okay, so the reason you guys are all here is because you want to know what the Galaxy S8 will consist of. The Galaxy S8 is going to be a make or break device for Samsung as the company tries to recover from the Note 7 disaster that cost the company billions of dollars and just severely crippled its brand image. It's not that the Note 7 was a bad device, it just unfortunately had faulty batteries and/or a faulty design that caused some batteries to overheat and explode, thus forcing the company to recall all of the units. If the Note 7 weren't recalled, it would have been my favorite phone of 2016. The runner-up being the Galaxy S7 Edge. In my opinion, of course. So given how great the S7 and S7 Edge devices are, it makes me really excited for the S8 and the S8 Edge. We have compiled a list of all of the leaked and heavily rumored features of the S8 to essentially ruin the surprise for you when Samsung officially launches its next flagship in April. Let's talk about the design. First of all, Samsung's head of mobile said Samsung has considered that it would make the Edge display as the identity of the Galaxy S smartphone lineup if the company can provide consumers differentiated user experience through software and user-friendly functions for the curved screen. We know Samsung wants to go all Edge, but we don't exactly know when, and it's very likely we won't see them go all in with the Edge screen with the S8, so there will be a flat or a standard S8, as well as a larger S8 Edge with a curved display. The build will likely consist of the same materials, metal and glass, two very high quality premium materials. I have no problems with those materials besides the fact they're a little bit more prone to damage, at least the glass is. But you can't really beat metal and glass. Now, there will be a 3.5mm headphone jack. There was a report that surfaced not too long after the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus launched that said Samsung would follow suit and remove the headphone jack, but that doesn't appear to be the case. We'll see a USB Type-C port, we'll see wireless charging, an iris scanner similar to the Note 7, and a fingerprint scanner, of course. There's talk that Samsung will incorporate stereo speakers in the S8 and the S8 Edge. If they did, they might be Harman branded, as Samsung is actually buying Harman, the audio company. Fingers are crossed because that is one area that I think Samsung really needs to step it up in. It's with the audio. I would not be at all surprised though if they turn the call speaker into more of a loudspeaker with more of a loud, robust speaker, kind of similar to the iPhones. So if they did that, there would be a front-facing speaker up top, and of course there would be the normal bottom-facing speaker in the bottom, thus creating a stereo set of speakers. Things start to get a little bit more interesting when we talk about the displays. Some rumors suggest a 4K display to help with the VR element Samsung has with its flagships. We will see 4K displays in smartphones, it's only a matter of time, but I don't think we're quite there yet. We'll likely see a Super AMOLED display with improved brightness and contrast with a 2K QHD resolution. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, I think, in my opinion, of course. A 4K display would be nice, but it would drain the battery like crazy, and it wouldn't honestly look that much better than a 2K QHD panel. Now for virtual reality, that's a completely different discussion, and it would make a big difference. Now things get even more interesting when we talk about the display sizes. The case renders of the S8 have leaked along with the handset's measurements. The case renders show the S8 Edge measures 152 by 78 by 7.94 millimeters, making it longer and wider than the S7 Edge because the display will be larger. The S8 Edge will see a 6.3-inch screen. The S8 will measure in at 140 by 72 by 7.3 millimeters, making it a tad bit shorter and thinner than the Galaxy S7, but still a little bit wider. This report makes it sound like the S8 will also feature a curved display, which contrasts an earlier report. Also, those measurements are without taking into account the curved edges. The only way for Samsung to make the S8 and S8 Edge's displays larger, all while keeping the overall design about the same size as the S7 and S7 Edge, is to decrease the size of the bezels around the displays. And surprise, surprise, that's exactly what they're expected to do. They won't be as thin as the bezels found on the Xiaomi Mi Mix, which we recently reviewed. I'll leave a link down below for you, but they'll be much thinner than before. Though it does raise the question about where the fingerprint scanner will be located. Some say it will be incorporated into the display, but I doubt that. I don't think we're quite there yet. In terms of cameras, the phones should feature 2 camera sensors, a wide-angle sensor, and more of a cropped main sensor. If that were the case, which the rumor suggests, Samsung would also have some sort of bokeh feature that would make the background extra blurry, similar to a DSLR and similar to the iPhone 7 Plus. One of the latest reports also suggests the 8-megapixel front-facing sensor will feature an iris scanner, which we talked about earlier, and it will also have autofocus. The performance looks really good too. So Samsung phones have always been high ballers in the performance department. I think the only thing that's really held them back is TouchWiz, the software running on top of, or the skin running on top of Android. The S8 and S8 Edge will feature an Exynos processor. If you live outside of the United States, it might be the 8895 chipset with ARM's new Mali G71 CPU. If you do live in the United States, you'll very likely see a Snapdragon processor of sorts. We don't know exactly which one, but it'll very likely be the new Snapdragon 835 octa-core CPU with 6 gigabytes of RAM. I've seen reports claim 8 gigabytes of RAM, but to be honest, guys, that just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for Samsung to jump from 4 gigabytes of RAM to 8 gigabytes of RAM in 1 year. I mean, I thought the Note 7 would be the phone to have 6 gigabytes of RAM, but it's looking like the S8 and the S8 Edge will be the phones to get the RAM increase. It also goes without saying that both devices will run Android 7.0 Nougat out of the box. If you guys aren't familiar with Android for whatever reason, I don't know why you're watching this video, but Nougat is Google's latest Android OS, featuring many bug and security improvements over Marshmallow, and several just very handy features like true multitasking, support for the new Vulkan API, and improved battery life. And in terms of battery life, the battery capacities should be very similar to the S7 and S7 Edge, which is not really a bad thing. The S7 Edge had pretty damn good battery life. The S8 Edge will feature significantly larger battery life, though, than the S8. Some other features include a Viv artificial intelligence personal assistant. Samsung is definitely working on its own AI assistant, but due to a contract it has with Google, it might not actually come into fruition, or it might not actually launch on Samsung's next flagships. And another feature that is hotly anticipated is IP68 water resistance. IP68 water resistance was found on the last Samsung phone, the last 2 or 3 Samsung phones. So it's very likely it's going to return in the S8 and S8 Edge. Now, these phones will be the cream of the crop of Android smartphones, so you can expect to pay a pretty penny for them. The standard S8 will be priced at around $700 off contract, while the S8 Edge will be priced at around $800 off contract, and that's a pretty conservative estimate. It will be more expensive, of course, depending on the storage configuration you select. So that's a lot of information for you. I apologize if I was talking a little bit fast. I just had a bunch of coffee, and I also recorded this entire video, and it actually didn't record. There was an error in Premiere Pro, so I had to record it again, and usually that means I talk a little faster the next time. But with that said, guys, I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on the S8 and S8 Edge, so let me know what they are in a comment down below. Hope you enjoyed this video. As always, I'm BoHD from PhoneDog.com. Thank you for watching, and I will see you right back here in the next one. See ya.